Sackers, how you going? So today on BKRsport, we were actually meant to be doing some Rugby League World Cup content today. We're going to do like a love, like, dislike in regards to international teams, or we're going to do a video where we rank all the different stadiums and whatnot, or even who's got the most pressure in the Rugby League World Cup. You know, some fun content, you know, a little bit of fun. But today, we've got a bit of a different story, and it is obviously Des Hasler being sacked by Manly. I want to come out here and say my piece with this because, for me, I find it absolutely ludicrous in regards to so many factors that it just shows how much of a shambles that Manly are in right now. As a Gold Coast Titans fan, I know all about how, you know, it feels to be in this kind of situation. I know all about how it feels to be in a situation where the club is just in an absolute mess and you don't know how it's going to pick itself up from this. And Manly have put themselves into this, and it's not, you know, the team necessarily has put them into it, but it's literally the organisation. And the organisation has made a brain-dead decision here to sack their coach based on an unsuccessful season that had so many contextual factors that went into why they performed so poorly at the end of the year as well, mind you. Des Hasler has obviously been around Manly for a very long time now, and I think that ultimately, just to clarify, the right decision has been made in regards to how they should have acted today and the last couple of days, but ultimately regarding everything and taking away today's feeling of it and going back a little bit, overall you keep Des Hasler because he is a great coach. He's a multi-premiership winning coach with Manly, the team that we're talking about here. He's won premierships with this club before. Yes, obviously, understandably, this year was a poor year for Manly, where a lot of people thought they were going to be, you know, contenders. I never did. I had them 5th place, which was quite low for pretty much everyone pre-season. But obviously, they finished outside the 8. They were in with a chance to make the 8, mind you, with about, 6-7 weeks to go. And then the organisation, with the, pride situation in regards to their jersey, really screwed that club overall. Didn't contact Des, didn't contact many of the players at all, didn't contact anybody except for their own agenda and needs that they wanted to push and they wanted to use as propaganda, effectively, right? And that screwed with this club. This is why everyone always says politics and sport do not go well together. They do not go well together because situations like this arise. And because of that situation, not only did Manly miss the 8, but not only did, the players completely fall out with the club, not only did the fans fall out of love with players in their team and also the club, but then also we've now seen the coach sacked because of it. The organisation is realistically the only one at fault for this situation. Yeah, look, the players didn't play well enough at the end of the year, but we all know how large of an impact that had in regards to the criticism the club faced, the extra pressure the club was facing, and the fact that Manly were in the midst, at the time, they were in the midst of a top 8 challenge. They were there with the Roosters. The week that it happened, right? The week that it happened was the week they were taking on the Sydney Roosters. And whoever won that game were in the 8 at the time. But obviously the Roosters won by a big amount because there was too much pressure added on because the organisation didn't know what they were doing and they added in the Pride jersey. Which, for all intents and purposes, is okay if you believe in wanting to create the, diversity. And if you want to create love for, all kinds of the community, then be my guest. But you've got to tell people. Like, you've got to make people aware. And the reason why we're talking about this right now in regards to Des Hasler sacking, because that's effectively what's happened here, right? Des Hasler has been sacked by Manly because of an inept decision and lack of accountability by Manly organisation and the actual structure itself. You know, the older I get, the more I go away from the players and I start looking more at the organisation. And if you watch my streams, you know that I talk a real positive amount about this new organisation at the Titans and the new structure that we have going and what we're building behind the scenes in comparison to previous organisations, right? This Manly one has no clue what they're doing. They don't. They've just gone and signed Anthony Seibold. What's Seibold done? What's Seibold done? You know, Manly last year made the preliminary final. Tom Trbojevic in the first 5 games gets injured. Out for the season. The best player. Last year, he was the best player in the world. Right? Clearly. He had a Jared Hayne 09, Ben Barber 2012 kind of season. Right? Tom Trbojevic had that kind of year. And then, the year after, 5 weeks in, he gets injured for the rest of the year. And then, obviously, Manly start to fall apart. But they didn't fall apart as badly as you think. I just want to clarify this for you. Manly weren't as bad as people give him credit for, because they were still in the midst of a top 8 race, even without Trbojevic in most of the year. So that means that if Des Hasler has his full team that, he ideally wants and everyone wants, probably a top 6, top 5 team, potentially. Now, look, Trbojevic didn't exactly start off unbelievable at the beginning of the year, but that was at the very, very beginning of the year, man. Like, you've got to give him time and just give him a bit of space to let the season unfold. But a massive injury like that just completely killed him. Completely killed them. But didn't kill them as much as people make him out to be. They were a competitive team still. They were still winning games. Like, they were still doing well. It wasn't like they were getting embarrassed in all these games. They were still in 9th place or 8th place. This is a lot to be sacking a manager for. This is a lot to be sacking, sorry, that's my football coming out of me. It's a lot to be sacking a coach for. Especially considering that most people coming to this year thought they were going to be a top 4 team. But things came up. Trbojevic got injured. Other players got injured at Manly. And then the Pride situation happened. It was a schmozzle of a year. Is that Des Hasler's fault? Not for me. Right, is that Des Hasler's fault? No, I don't believe so. I think he did what he could with what he had. And I think that if Seabold was in that situation, or we have other coaches like, Madge, Josh Hannay is being spoken about here. Settle down. Like, Josh Hannay, in comparison to Des Hasler, you've got to compare every single coach that is about to be linked with this club with Des Hasler. That's what you've got to do. Anthony Seabold, I understand, has signed, right? But you're going to have people still compare and say, oh, what other coaches are around? Because Seabold is just a rando one. Rando. Josh Hannay, you got Madge, you've got, who's the one who used to be at the Sharkies? John Morris. You've got a heap of these guys out there that are looking for clubs, but they're all not anywhere near as close as good as Des Hasler. Des Hasler is a premiership winning coach. If anything, right, if I'm the Dolphins right now, Wayne Bennett's only going to be there for a year or two. Wayne Bennett will be there for a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, max, right? He's not a young pup anymore. I get Des Hasler. I say, Des, let's get you. You come be the assistant coach to Wayne, which is tough to be an assistant when you're Des, but you come and be alongside Wayne, and then once Wayne goes, you're going to be our coach. This is a perfect situation for the Dolphins to swoop in here. This is a perfect situation for the Dolphins to swoop in on Des and get a really, really good coach that will take them long term. Because Wayne Bennett is not long term at the Dolphins, mind you. He's not. The guy is nearly 460 years old. Like, he's done so much for the game. He's been incredible for the game, right? He's one of the best, if not the best, coach of all time. But time has now waned on, and we're going to have to see him bring through somebody else. And it's weird to say that Wayne Bennett bringing through Des Hasler, because obviously Hasler is accomplished in his own right. But obviously you're going to have Wayne Bennett there for a few years, and then Des will take over. Because there's no point. Where's Des going to go right now? They've already signed one for the Dogs. They've already got, was it Seraldo as their coach now? Titans have got Holbrook. It depends on how the season goes next year, to be honest with you. Truly, Titans could be a shout here for Desi. The Titans could be a shout here for Desi if the season does, not work out in our favour in the opening rounds of the season. Obviously, Holbrook's got a decent bit of pressure on him. I still think the club is very well believing in him, and I believe in him as well, but I think that there is still a bit of pressure on him. There's a decent bit of pressure on him. The Warriors, maybe a shout. Maybe a shout, the Warriors. Cowboys, no. Toddy Payton's fine for the time being. I don't think Kevin Walters is going to be going anywhere for the time being, even though that club is just a muppetry. Craig Bellamy's staying on. Raiders, Ricky Stewart. That would be really... Ricky Stewart and Des Hasler, for me, are pretty much the same coach. Like, I would say they're effectively the same, so I wouldn't say that Des would be a good fit for the Raiders, because it'd be effectively gone from a crazy nutter who is accomplished, but a while ago, but accomplished, and very micromanaging in Ricky Stewart to the exact same person with Des Hasler, who is a nut job, micromanager, and it's not the right one for them for me. The thing that pisses me off the most about this, right, really ticks me off, is that obviously Des and Manly were coming to a path. This is why I say it's the right call right now, but it shouldn't have gotten to this point. It shouldn't have gotten to this point, right? But it is technically the right call right now, because Des has come out and said that I will do whatever you guys need me to do. I'll still go next year, and then whatever, Seabold can take over 2024, right? Des literally came out, basically said, I'm going to do what is best for the club. I'm going to do what is necessary for Manly. Even though you guys are being dictators and telling me what I can and can't do, even though you guys want to change everything about how I coach this team, I'll do it. Because that's what's best for this club. Although Des can be a polarising figure, he's still thinking about Manly despite the fact that the organisation is in the absolute shit right now. But then, after he did this, publicly came out, I believe they've probably told him to publicly go out and say that, so that it's backing in the organisation. They've then come out and sacked him the day after, or a couple of days after. It said, doesn't matter. So why would you offer him the stipulations? Why would you offer him the changes in how the club is run in regards to how Des Hasler works? Why would you bother offering that? It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you offer that when you know that you're not going to re-sign him, or you're not going to bring him back? Which, like I said, fair enough. It was obviously a breaking point. Obviously, you couldn't work together. And obviously, it was time that Des probably should go. But it should never have gotten to this point because there's no one better on the market. Seibold is not a replacement for Des. It just is what it is. Like, I'm frustrated for Manly here. Manly fans, half the time, are super arrogant. But, like, you've got to feel for them. You've really got to feel for Manly right now. Because this is a schmozzle. And truly, it all started because of the organisation. And there's no way that I let the board get away with this. There's no way I let the board / CEO get away with this nonsense. As a fan, if I was a fan, if this was the Titans, I'd be kicking up a fuss. This is Manly. If you're a Manly fan, I'd be kicking up a fuss and saying, well, this is just nonsense. It's just nonsense how we're getting treated as fans and nonsense how this club is treating every aspect of the game. So that's my thoughts on this. Obviously, let me know in the comment section your thoughts about Des. If you believe he should have stayed, if the club should have stayed, or should have got rid of him. Like I said, right this second, it's the right call because it was so toxic in the end. But it should never have gotten to this stage because the club has never taken into account the contextual factors that went into this season, has not taken into account anything that anybody said besides what their agenda is. And if they thought that anyone was going to support this Anthony Seibold being brought in, like, what? What? You've gone from Des Hasler to Anthony Seibold and you want people to be supportive of you? One more thing here quickly. Tom Trbojevic could go. Jake Trbojevic could go. Cherry Evans could go. Kieran Foran already gone. He's gone to the Titans, obviously. You know, you could see the likes of Hamali Olakau'atu go. You could see a lot of the guys, I think, what was it, the 7 Islander boys that took offence to the Pride jersey. Des had their back and said basically like this was something that, although he didn't necessarily agree that the players would not play for them, he understood where they were coming from and said that it's the organisation's fault and it's the issue of the club. So I would not be surprised if the players actually backed at Des there and said, okay, well, I want to go elsewhere because I don't believe in this club anymore, which is what the Trbojevic has been saying. Obviously, Cherry Evans came out publicly, backed Des against the organisation and said that he only wants to play for Des and says that Des is his guy. This club is going to be in such a small... This is going to be a tough team to watch next year. There's going to be a lot of issues at Manly next year, and most people are here for it. They are. But in the same sense, I disagree with this. I disagree with how this has all unfolded because some people didn't read the room. But alright guys, I appreciate you. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. If you want me to do more of these kind of videos, then like I said, hit that thumbs up button and comment below what your thoughts are and let me know that you like these kind of chat videos. Obviously, we're going to be streaming literally every single game of the Rugby League World Cup right here on the channel, so be here live for the games as we go and as we talk and react to it as it gets crazy. It's going to be crazy. So like I said, I appreciate you. Live your passion. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. And let's get it rock and rolling for the Rugby League World Cup, baby. And good luck, Manly. You're going to need it. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.